What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dan Mabry Project. This episode is with Sadie Rylander. Sadie's a boss. Sadie grabbed my attention from the minute that I met her. We met through our friend Tyler Thompson, previous guest on the podcast. And Sadie introduced herself and told me that she worked for tech and in video. And I was like, okay, I'm interested because obviously I'm in trying to lean more towards video, and obviously I love Louisiana Tech. So, yeah, she said that she was the director of video operations and creative services, and I was like, that's a sick title. I want to know more. And then she told me she was from Pennsylvania, and I was like, wow. To end up in North Louisiana is probably not where she thought she would end up, and so we got to talk a lot about that and where she's been and what she's done and how she ended up here and, kind of what she thinks the future holds for her. So, really enjoyed sitting down and getting to know Sadie a little bit more and hanging out. So I look forward to collaborating with her in the future as we kind of lead into towards the end of this. And, I don't know. If you want to follow me on Instagram, Dan.Mabry. I got tons of stickers. Basically, I do a $6 minimum, and you get 3 stickers, and I'll send them to you if you send me your address on Instagram. So you can Venmo me the money at Daniel-Mabry. But yeah, please subscribe to this podcast. I really appreciate any contribution financially or just with a click of the button. I am trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so that I can become monetized on YouTube. And I think we're at 150 right now. So anything helps. And if you enjoy this one, please share with a friend and check out a previous one. And we'll have more coming in the coming weeks. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate all the support so far. And enjoy this one with Sadie. Peace.
Like a flip one, and then just like an actual carabiner clipper one, which was pretty neat.
All right. What is your last name, Sadie?
My last name is Rylander.
Rylander?
Yes. Would you like me to spell it for you?
I mean, yeah, we'll do that later.
Okay.
And what is your title?
My title at Louisiana Tech is the Director of Video Operations and Creative Services.
Okay. So we'll just go from there, I guess.
Cool.
I met Sadie through Tyler Thompson, a previous guest on the podcast and someone that Sadie works with on a regular basis here at Louisiana Tech. She was kind enough to get us into a suite here at the football stadium, so got a cool environment today. Sadie grabbed my attention because she's into video and she's also she didn't grow up here and she ended up here. And I always find people interesting that they came, especially far away, as you did from Pennsylvania. So I guess you grew up in Pennsylvania. What part of Pennsylvania did you grow up in?
I did. I'm from Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania. It's southwestern PA. Mount Pleasant is kind of like a Rustin, kind of just like a small town. You got a Walmart. We got an Applebee's, some banks.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of it is farm, so pretty much just like Rustin, except the only difference is we don't have a D1 university in our town.
Yeah.
So, pretty much just like Rustin, but
maybe humidity's not necessarily such an issue.
In summer it can get pretty humid, but I mean, the winters definitely aren't the same down here.
For sure. I guess when did you start to pick up a video camera and get into creating things, I guess?
I actually didn't start making videos or really doing anything creative until my senior year in college.
Okay.
So it was kind of later in life. I kind of just give you my college background.
Yeah, for sure.
I started out at a community college, Westmoreland County Community College. I just did my basic courses there. At the time, I wanted to be a physics teacher, a physics high school teacher, and there I played basketball and softball for 2 years. So that was a lot of fun. Met some cool people, and then after that,
Bring it a little closer to you. There you go.
I went to California University of Pennsylvania, and my dad worked there. So
Okay.
I got free tuition. I got into sports management there, and that's what the degree I graduated with. And I actually got into video and media because my senior year I went to a conference, and at the conference for sports, usually it's just a bunch of sponsorship and tickets because they want to get young blood in that's excited, they have a job, and just to sell tickets, do cold calls. And I told my professor straight up, I was like, I do not want to do that. That is definitely something that does not interest me at all. So on this sheet, it had all the people that were going to be there, and there was one multimedia person that was going to be there, and his name is Eric Kaminsky. And he worked at Duquesne University up in Pittsburgh. And so I told my professor, I said, listen, I need to meet this guy. And my professor found him. He was actually getting ready to leave. And my professor said, you need to meet my student. And so I met Eric. We exchanged information, and I started working for him at Duquesne, just being a camera operator for, I didn't do football. I did men's and women's basketball, soccer, lacrosse, and some volleyball. So I got into it there, and then from there I did some different internships.
So like whenever you're just filming, like you're just
Mhm.
filming practice and games, and like are you putting together hype videos and that kind of stuff, or is it just
Nope, it was pretty much just
boring stuff?
camera operator.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was fun because, I mean, the game action camera is pretty boring. Like
Yeah.
you're just following the ball back and forth, left to right.
Right.
But I mean, whenever you're an ISO cam or like a slash cam or like a beauty cam, that's when you have like your tighter shot. So it's a little bit more. You're into the game. You're zooming in. You're zooming out.
Right.
You got to be a little bit quicker. And those are the
A
cameras.
little more
that
intense.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And then the under the basket cameras, those are cool too, because you're like right in the action.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So I take it you grew up in playing sports, playing basketball and softball, you said?
Yeah, basketball and softball, and I ran a little bit of track.
Yeah. Was that, I guess, was that something that you looked forward to playing in college, or was that just something that you kind of saw an opportunity to take advantage of? Or was that why you went to that school?
The reason why I went to the community college was I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to go to a big university and waste a bunch of money. And their coach actually recruited me through high school. So I was like, well, if I'm going to go here anyways, I might as well play basketball.
Yeah.
And once basketball season was over, my friend played softball there. And I was just like, well, I don't have nothing to do, so I might as well play softball too. So that's how I played softball there too.
So you were able to keep that separate. It's different seasons, I guess.
Yeah, basketball's winter, softball's spring.
Yeah. So was that something that you found difficult in college to be a two-sport athlete like that and keep? I mean, I guess you only did it for a year. 2 years.
Yeah. At the community level, not so much.
Yeah.
Because we practiced once a day. We didn't really do weights. It was more of just like a laid back, let's practice, get our plays ready, and then go to tournaments and games and stuff on the weekends. So it wasn't as tasking as, say, a full-time like 4-year school is, where you got your weights and you got your practice, and then you even have like they do like yoga or like some other stuff.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It was pretty laid back.
So yeah, after that you started to pursue more media stuff, and I guess I know we had talked previously a little bit. You had some pretty unique internships. I guess talk about, I know you were part of the Penguins for a little while. Can you talk about how you got involved with that and kind of some of your experiences there as well?
Yeah, so after undergrad, I went and got my master's at Point Park University in downtown Pittsburgh. And while I was there, I interned with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. So I did video and communication there with them. They're a soccer team in Pittsburgh. So that was pretty cool. I met one of my best friends now. Her name's Susie Cole. She does broadcasting. So she was my on-camera talent, and I was the videographer. So we became super tight. And then after that, I interned with the Penguins, and that was cool. I got to go to practices and shoot stuff. I got to go into the locker room after practice, after games, sit like how we're sitting right here with Sidney Crosby, you know, and I'm just sitting there with a camera on my shoulder like, this is cool.
For sure.
Yeah.
So again, you were just being a camera operator in those?
Well, I got to get into a little bit more of the editing, so I started using Premiere Pro.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot that I did, because the people above me did a lot more of it. But whenever I was with the Penguins, I got to do a welcome back video for one of their players because he had gotten traded.
Gotcha.
So I made that and actually got played in game.
Sweet.
And they posted on social media. So that was pretty cool. I was like, hey, oh my gosh, guys, I made that.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. So that's whenever I started getting into the editing and stuff like that.
Yeah. And so you went to the Riverhounds before but then you went to the minor league baseball team, right?
Yes. Yeah. The Washington Wild Things.
Okay. And that was more of a bigger role.
Yeah. With the Wild Things, I was the manager of video operations and creative content. So pretty much same title, but
okay. All right. So was that a scary role to jump into, or is that I don't know I just assumed that you had a whole lot more responsibility for that job.
Definitely going from being just an intern where you help out and make some things, going into a manager role where I was the one pretty much producing all of our content, and I had most of my responsibilities were game day responsibilities, which was really cool because I'd never done anything like that. So leading up to the season, I downloaded a bunch of music. For the video board, I would cut up little clips from movies and TV shows for outs and runs, errors, and stuff like that. And then during the season, it was wild. It was every day, we had a couple weeks where it would be 6 home games in a week.
Yeah.
So, but during games, I was the press box manager. So I had a PA announcer that I had to write all his scripts for him. It was in this big book. I had a DJ. So I pretty much
scripts, making sure advertisers were getting their airtime, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. That stuff, pregame stuff, so and so is singing the national anthem and stuff like that, and then plugging spots. Also, my DJ, I pretty much gave him free reign because he had done it before.
Okay.
So he knew what he was doing, and I was like, cool. You do you, and I don't really have to worry about you too much. But and then I had a technical director.
Okay.
So he ran the video board for me, and he would tell my cameras, get this, do this. I had 3 cameras, and then I kind of just stood watch and made sure that nothing
Let's say
went
so you
wrong.
had some experience you could rely on from those other guys that you didn't have to necessarily micromanage.
Yeah. That was, and they were all older than me.
Yeah.
My PA announcer, he was probably in his mid 60s. My DJ, he's in his early 30s, and then my TD was probably 50s, something like that.
Yeah. But I imagine that takes a lot of stress off of you to rely on those kind of people.
Yeah, for sure.
And so how long were you with that team, with the baseball team?
I was with them for almost 2 seasons, 1 full season, and then during my second season, it was about around like August, I had started applying to other jobs, and I applied to probably like 60 plus jobs all over the country.
Were you just tired of baseball, or?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I was tired of baseball. It's not really my favorite sport. It's a little bit slow paced and boring. Like if I'm at a game, it's more fun,
Right.
but to be working 6 games in a row,
Well, yeah, and that's also a big part of it. Is like you said, there's 6 games in 1 week, and then you may go a week without anything, but
yeah.
there's still, you come back and you got 3 more the next week, and I know, and it's what, 4 months, 5 months
Yeah.
long.
Well,
So.
our league, it was from May to August. May, June, July. Yeah, like 4 months. So
Yeah.
I just kind of got burnt out. And there wasn't any growth in the position. Because, like, I was the head. There was nobody above me in my position. So I was like, I need to make some moves here.
Yeah. And like you said, you applied to a bunch of different places, and I guess with the experience that you already had with multiple different sports, did you have a preference as a sport that you were looking to work in, or were you just looking for another managerial role of some sort?
I was honestly just looking for a managerial role somewhere else, because there were no jobs open in Pennsylvania at the time in sports. So I was like, I'm just going to have to take a leap and go out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I had, I think, 3 schools reach out, Tech being one of them, of course.
Yeah.
The other one was, I think, Wyoming State and some school, I think like Southern Illinois, maybe.
And why did you choose Louisiana Tech over the others?
I did a video interview with my boss, and I guess like my boss's boss, but he's like still my boss.
Gotcha.
And it was actually in one of these suites here, and they just seemed really genuine, good people. It seemed like everything that they were expecting for this position to do, I was able to do. And the other 2, the Southern Illinois and the Wyoming one, I wouldn't be doing as much, which might have been easier, but I wanted to take on the challenge of being the video board director along with being like the creative services director.
Which, like that's definitely what I guess from what I've heard of you. You have some creative control, and you also be able to get to like make sure things really run smoothly and stuff like that. So I guess, can you talk about what your role is here at Louisiana Tech and kind of some of your day-to-day activities?
Yeah, sure. So with our 14 intercollegiate athletic teams that we have here, me and my team make all of the creative content for every sport. So we make not so much the graphics. Our marketing team does more of the graphics, but all the videos that you see out on our social media page, the main sports page, comes from me and my team. So we go out, we shoot the footage, we come back, we edit it. So it's a lot of fun. And then during game days, we set up the cameras, make sure everything's coming back to the TAC. Because for football, we actually run it remotely. We run the video board through the TAC, which a lot of people don't know that.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, pregame.
How does that work?
So everything runs from the TAC underground to the truck dock that's right back there.
Yeah. Okay.
And then it runs up into all the different fiber boxes.
So there's just someone in the TAC that's watching a video board, making switches and stuff?
That's me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you don't even get to come out and stand in the heat for the early football games, huh?
I don't. But, I mean, and that's why I tell my cameras, I tell them, guys, I can't see anything, so y'all are my eyes out there.
Yeah.
You gotta, like, if some fan's doing something crazy or something's going on, like there's a flag on the play, I need you to pick that up, like, know that I need that and pick it up and stuff like that.
So are you in there by yourself, or you have...
It's me on the switcher, and then I have a person doing replay, and then I have a person doing graphics.
So it's just everybody's yard constantly in communication.
Yeah, and then, of course, we're on headsets So we got us three that are in there. We got our camera people, and then we got my boss, who's usually on the field directing the promotions and stuff like that. And so headsets are a lot of fun on game days.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I have to tell everybody like, hey guys, like we got to be quiet for like right now. Like I'm trying to tell people what to do, but we have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt. But I imagine it is a bit of chaos at times. Like you say, with all the promotion and stuff, and the game stops, but you still have to keep filming and keep producing stuff. Imagine it's kind of as soon as it starts, you don't get a break until the end, huh?
Nah, and like the most nerve-wracking part is probably pregame, because it's all scripted and you got to hit your marks and
certain times.
Yeah, and if something goes wrong, you just got to play it off, because like we know that something's wrong, but like 90% of the time fans have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. I've definitely experienced that with other things, just like it's supposed to happen and you see that it doesn't happen. You're like, oh God, all right, well, just keep moving. We got other things we got to do here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, and you said that you're involved in. Are you involved in like actively like getting promotions, or I guess making sure that you have the promotion graphics and stuff like that?
Yeah, so our sponsorship team, which is Learfield, that's who Tyler works for.
Yeah.
So they go out and they do the sponsorship things, and then they'll get us like the logos and the graphics and stuff like that. So I just have to make sure that it's loaded in we use Pro Presenter, which is pretty much just like you click on the video or the graphic and it plays it. But my boss, Kane, he makes the scripts. So he does all of the coordinating with sponsorship to make sure that this is getting played in the first half or the first quarter or whenever it needs to go. So I'm kind of just the one that makes sure it follows through.
Yeah. And I know that you said that you and your team have a lot of influence on the social media output and that kind of stuff. Is that stuff that you yourself are editing and have creative control over? Or is that something that you allow your team to take care of, or?
It's honestly a group effort.
Yeah.
If somebody has a cool idea that they've seen another team do, or that something on Twitter or Instagram, I'm all open to any kind of idea that would be cool, that would grab people's attention. So, excuse me, this year, since it'll be my first full year and I'm here this summer, I'm trying to do some planning and get some new ideas that'll get our fans more engaged and getting to know our student athletes a little bit better. So we're actually probably going to have a meeting this upcoming week to just kind of smooth out the ideas and pick like a solid 2 that we can do and do very good.
Yeah, for sure. And so I guess obviously you're not in the marketing team. I guess you have a certain role in that, but is content for y'all something that you're looking to produce every day, or a couple times a week, or once a week? What is the strategy there, I guess?
So whenever, of course, this summer there isn't much going on.
Well, and I guess that was kind of where my head was at, because sports are like dead right now, professionally and collegiately, or like so that was kind of where my head was at with that question, I guess.
So like in the summer, I try, depending on what's going on, because like sometimes, since football pretty much goes on all the time, and we're having that Grambling game on September 7th, so we're doing a lot of stuff with that, so that helps with the content, putting stuff out. But I try to post like a video a week at least. I know our marketing team does a little bit more with graphics and stuff like that, but with us, if there's not something going on, we can't go shoot it. And I mean, we could do like looking into the future or something like that, like getting ready, but it's July, so it's still pretty early.
Yeah.
But we will have some videos coming out with the Grambling game.
So I know something that y'all did last year was like the What's Up Rustin deal. Is that something that you like want to continue to do? I mean, I think that was it always got my attention, and it always was cool to see what was going on that week, that kind of deal.
Well, that's really cool to hear you say that
Yeah.
because I personally don't like What's Up Rustin.
Yeah.
I mean, I
guess I like the idea of it. It like it's a little bit corny, but at the same time, like I'm not ignorant to the fact that sometimes it has to be that way to like reach mass audiences and be palatable to everybody. I don't know. That's just me thinking out loud.
Oh, I mean, I feel the exact same way. I mean, when I first got here and they were like, oh, yeah, we do this thing called What's Up Rustin', and I saw the video and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So, I mean, we have to do it this year because it's in the contract that we have to do it again this year.
Gotcha.
So I'm hoping to find a way to put a different spin on it so it's not, I don't want to say it's boring, but out of all the videos that we produce, it's one of the ones that doesn't get the most reach. It is a cool concept to let people know what's going on in athletics for home events and stuff like that. So either doing something different with it, or I talked to some of our sponsorship people about maybe asking if they would mind us making a different segment. So we got some ideas we've been spitballing, but
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I think we're on the same page there. I guess, do you have any other, creative projects that you have looking forward that you can talk about, or any wild ideas that you have, any promotional ideas you have going on?
So
what are you looking forward to in the future, I guess?
Honestly, I love making hype videos. Like, that's really where I feel like my creativity and my team's creativity, because we got some good editors, really comes through. You could definitely tell from like the beginning of last year to the end of last year just how much better we all got. I think we started to use some transitions and overlays and like text in our videos, so I thought that gave it a better inspiration, I guess. But this year we're still gonna we did mic'd up. I thought that was really neat. We're gonna do that. We did weekly reports with football. Every Wednesday we would go out and have Skip kind of just give a little rundown on how the team's looking and for the next week ahead. And I would like to do that for like soccer and volleyball in the fall, just to give them some love. And then of course with like basketball in the winter, do those weekly, and then baseball and softball too, just because those are like the bigger sports that people come to watch. And then there's this other segment, we're not sure what we're gonna call it, but it would be along the lines of, it wouldn't be like a sit down interview with a student athlete, but we would kind of interview an athlete. Either say we're doing a golf athlete, we would take them out to Squire Creek, kind of be on like the little practice putting green, and have them just do some putts with our host and talk about how the season's looking, ask them some questions like just about themselves, and
kind of a stripped down behind the scenes, just casual version of it.
Yeah, I think that helps a lot for our fans to get to know the student athlete, and then say like the team isn't doing well, performing well, at least our fans still say, hey, I know Razel Ginto on women's basketball, I'm going to go to a game because I want to see her play, and yeah. I kind of know who she is now.
For sure. But I think your idea with like taking them out to the golf course or on the basketball court and not just in a backlit room, and I think that grabs more attention, and at least somebody's like, what is this? This is an interview. Like it's not just immediately, you can't tell immediately what it is, and you have to grab somebody's attention to bring them in, I guess. So I mean, you are pretty young, and relatively young in your career, but it sounds like you have a good bit of experience, and sounds like you enjoy being here to some degree.
I do, yes.
Do you like? I mean, do you plan on? You look at like a long future here, or you're just kind of taking life as it goes, or?
I mean, I'm definitely staying here this year.
Yeah.
I love Tech. I love Rustin. So I mean, it would probably be, I would stay here until something kind of like fell into my lap. The next move I would like to make after here is working directly for like one team, just as their creative producer. Either one team, or I know some bigger schools they do where you'll have, say, one team in the fall, winter, and the spring. And I think that I would like to do that too. I mean, I love working with all the sports just because I pretty much know almost every student athlete here at Tech, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Just to have like a personal relationship with them.
For sure.
I think that my skills and my creativity could really be utilized better if it was just for one team per season.
Yeah. And I guess we kind of talked about it earlier, but you've had a lot of experiences in all of the sports. Is there one that you're particularly drawn to for that, or?
I mean, of course, women's basketball.
Okay.
I know the sport. I've played it all my life. And then softball. I played softball. Oh, excuse me. So that would definitely be another sport. But before I came to Tech, I'm a Steelers fan, of course, from Pittsburgh. But I was never like, oh, super cool, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'll watch it. I'll go to a game or whatever. But it was never, like, my first love. But coming here to Tech, and the first weekend I was here, I traveled with the football team to South Alabama. And I was on the field in, like, all the action, shooting B-roll. And as, like, the weeks progressed, like, we went to North Texas. We went to LSU. And LSU was probably the coolest sporting event I have ever been to. Like, being in Death Valley and having 100,000 people just screaming, it was unreal. Like, you could feel it in your chest.
Yeah.
Like, so that was neat.
It's a whole other world.
Yeah.
There, I've never been on the field, but I've sat pretty close to the field, and it's a definitely intense environment.
Mm-hmm.
And that place gets loud.
Getting called tiger bait, that was interesting.
I always love to hate on LSU fans because most of them buy their T-shirts at Walmart, but that's just a good old Louisiana Tech LSU joke. So, I don't know. Do you have any questions for me? You have anything you want to talk about?
Are you planning to come to any football games this year?
I mean, if you'll have me, I mean, I would love to be a part of a football game if that was ever a possibility.
I mean, I'm always needing more footage. I have a lot of my workers are volunteer student workers, so they're very good at like what they do, and with not getting paid, they're very hardworking, and they don't complain. They just come and hang out and help me do what I need to do. And but I mean, it would be great to have you on the field
for sure
at some home games and even basketball games.
Yeah, no doubt. I've definitely interested in both. So I guess I didn't realize that you had a bunch of volunteer workers.
Yeah.
So that I'm definitely looking for exactly what you're talking about currently, like unpaid experience and just shut up, show up, and go to work. So
heck yeah. And I mean, it's totally being on the field, being on the court, like, I don't know, it's wild because I went to LSU for men's basketball too. So I got to sit under the hoop and shoot B-roll. And it's just, this is my job. Like, this is the best thing in the whole world.
Yeah, no doubt. It's like you got a smile on your face the whole time.
Yeah. Even like with baseball and softball, I get to stand on the sidelines. Well, I guess, what would this be considered?
The foul line?
The foul lines?
I don't know.
Yeah. I get to stand on the field.
Yeah.
We'll say that. And I get to shoot video the entire time. Like one time at softball, I wasn't paying attention, got cracked with a softball right in the leg, and I'm like, cool.
I guess it's better than sitting in an office all day.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I would get hit with a softball every day in the thigh over having a desk job.
I think that's a perfect place to end it.
Yeah.
So, all right, Sadie, well, I really appreciate you coming on and talking to me, and I look forward to working with you in the future if we can make it happen.
for sure.
So
This was great.
yeah, well, I hope we can catch up with you down the road when you're working for some professional football team or something sometime.
We'll see. Either that or some big Power 5 school. I think college athletics might be my niche.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Tech will do well this year, and if not, you'll sure make us look good. So.
Well, thank you. That's the plan.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Peace.
See ya.